Hey there, nerds. Jimmy Palmquist here, and I have a little, I guess, TV review. It's for Amazon Studios. They reached out to us and asked if we would review the second part of the first season of The Tick. Now, of course, this is right up our alley. Love The Tick. I've read a comic book here or there a long time ago, but I never really got into the comics too much. It was really the 94, I think it was, right around there, Fox cartoon that was on Saturday mornings. Great lineup, by the way. X-Men, Spider-Man, The Tick. Awesome. But, and I fell in love with The Tick and Arthur. It was hilarious, and their cast of characters were so ridiculous and funny. And, of course, The Tick's one-liners as he would spout out things was fantastic. Obviously, that didn't last terribly long. It was great. I think it was 3 seasons maybe. But things move on, and then they announced eventually a live-action version, which after the cartoon, I had no idea how they were going to be able to do a live-action version. But Patrick Warburton, who I absolutely love, his character on Seinfeld, Putty, fantastic. Was really excited to see it, and it was good. It was not great. It was good. I found it enjoyable, but not a lot of people did, so it went away. So when they announced that they were going to be doing a new live-action version of The Tick, I'm like, okay, well, been here before. I was honestly kind of curious if Patrick Warburton was coming back, which I thought would be weird, but he fit The Tick well. Just the way he looked and the way he acted, I thought that worked out well. So eventually they did announce the cast of The Tick, and it was Peter Serafinowicz, who I knew mainly from Guardians of the Galaxy, the Nova Corps, What a Bunch of A-Holes, which hilarious, but he was also on Parks and Rec, best friends with Andy on the show, which was great. Chris Pratt, when they went to England. But anyway, he was a funny guy. So I thought, okay, well, let's see. I've never really seen him in a goofy role like this, so let's check it out. And what actually impressed me overall about this show is it's not really about the Tick. And I think that's the difference between the other 2 incarnations of the show, is it's really focused on Arthur, and it's sort of Arthur's origin story. And I really dig that. I know this sounds weird, but it almost puts it in a more realistic atmosphere to have Arthur be the focus. And I know what I'm saying because it is a goofy universe we're dealing with, but I really think it sort of grounds it in that it's Arthur's story. And Arthur's always the kind of one who's seen as a little bit crazy, and he kind of knows it, but he still has these deep beliefs of what's really happening, so he wants to find out. So I really dig that. And the actor Griffin Newman plays Arthur, who I kept watching him like, what is this guy from? He looks so familiar. And you might point to something else, whatever, but I'm from Cleveland. So I just rewatched Draft Day with Kevin Costner, that brilliant flick of a football film. And I'm like, oh my God, he's the intern. Awesome. So I love that there's that connection, and I love that he's just did a fantastic job as both Arthur and the Moth. I thoroughly enjoyed the storyline, and unlike the early incarnations, we have sort of a run-through story throughout the whole thing. And I really dug that season 1 was basically about Arthur proving and then defeating the idea that the Terror, which was played by Jackie Earle Haley, who, man, that guy is having an amazing career resurgence. I first became aware of him way back when with the Bad News Bears. Kelly, the awesome kid that was the badass on the team. But then coming back and doing Watchmen as Rorschach, fantastic. I wasn't a huge fan of the new remake Nightmare on Elm Street, but his version of Freddy was still terrifying. So it was great to see him in this role where he gets to be both terrifying And at the same time, he has his humorous moments, and it's awesome. Specifically at the end, this is not a spoiler, it was just hilarious. He's talking about the secret ingredient to this, basically this pop he invented and that he's been putting out for 30 years or so. And it was hilarious. It's not what you think. So I thought he was hilarious. I thought Arthur's sister in the story was hilarious. I thought the supporting characters were great. And again, before, his supporting characters were always these outrageous sort of fake superheroes. They had powers, but they were goofy as all get out. Or this time around, I'm not saying they're not goofy, but they're sort of, again, more realistic. It was almost like it was a darker version of the Tick and set in a more reality, which I dug. And one of the henchmen is named Lint, and her superpower is dealing with electricity. But because of that, she's constantly getting things stuck on her, a la Lint. And I thought that was hilarious, and I enjoyed it, and I liked that character, the persona, and I loved the whole history of it. I really enjoyed the first full season, 12 episodes, and specifically I'm now reviewing the 6 through 12 episodes that they just released, I think today, on Valentine's Day. How appropriate for the Tick. I just love the interaction between the Tick and Arthur. I love that partnership. I really enjoy the names that the creators, and let me give a shout out to Ben Edlund, who created the Tick back in high school. And I wasn't really aware of him other than he created the Tick, but looking him up, he has accomplished much more, a la he has been a producer on Powers, Gotham, the NBC TV show Revolution, the 2nd season, Supernatural, Angel. He wrote for Firefly, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, helped create, or inspired and also wrote the Venture Brothers, and then the Matt Damon animation Titan AE. It's like, wow, this guy has done quite a bit, and to be able to come back and take everything he's learned from that, because he specifically mentioned some a nice reference to Joss Whedon, that he's been able to learn characters and story development and take all that he's learned and create what I really think is the best version of the Tick we've seen so far. And again, I think one of the best things about it is it doesn't focus on the Tick. It really humanizes it with Arthur. Because I always thought Arthur was a great character, and I think even more so now. I really dig it. I highly recommend you check it out. There's other great characters. Overkill, Danger Boat, played by Alan Tudyk. Danger Boat is just his voice, Alan Tudyk's voice, but it's hilarious because it's sort of this AI being that's contained on a boat and falls in love with Arthur, which is, it's ridiculous, but it's the Tick. That's why it's perfect. So I highly recommend you check it out. Again, this is my favorite version of the Tick to date. It is, the full complete season is currently available on Amazon, and please watch, because I'd love to see Amazon do more of this. I can't imagine this being an inexpensive endeavor, so they need as many views as they can get. So please give it some love, get the Tick going, get out there. And a little cool side note, as I was watching that last episode, I was watching all the way through to see if they just have a Marvel tease or something at the end, and meaning a Marvel-esque end scene or anything like that. And I saw that Patrick Warburton was a producer on it, and I thought that was a very cool way to incorporate the other live-action version of the Tick, have him be a producer on it. I thought that was very, very cool. So yeah, go check it out. Highly recommend the Tick on Amazon.